I don't like when people call me stupid. I had great heritage, an uncle who was a great, great genius, a father who was a genius, everybody. We have a lot of geniuses. I don't like being called stupid. Is there a test or something I can take to prove to these radical left maniacs that I'm much smarter than them? Is there a test? And he said, sir, there is a test. It's called the X test. I said, what's it like? He said, well, it gets very tough. The first questions are easy, and the middle of the test gets tough, and the end of the test is quite tough. A tariff is a tax on a foreign country. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's a tax on us. No. It's a tax on a foreign country. It's a tax on a country that's ripping us off and stealing our jobs. And it's a tax that doesn't affect our country. And you could see hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs on other countries also. Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that, but the government hasn't caught up with that yet.
Things rarely go well when MAGA Republicans try to crunch numbers.
Math proficiency dropped by 7 points. Reading levels dropped by 2 points. There are 1,524 and 481. This is over 1 million.
The provisions of the Republicans' tax package increase or add to or pay down our national debt.
It undoubtedly added to our national debt.
Republican math here. It added to our national debt. Let me show everybody how much. Wait, hang on. It's a 2 whiteboard situation. Can you read that number for everybody?
That's 1.8 trillion.
1.8 trillion. Couldn't even fit it all on one whiteboard. So this is how much they added to the deficit, even as the premise of this hearing is that the deficit is a real problem and that Republicans believe it's a real problem. So if they didn't solve our deficits through the tax code, through that tax piece, they surely took action to fully pay for Social Security and Medicare so that we don't drive up the deficit that way. Dr. Harris, do you know how many Republicans co-sponsor the Social Security 2100 Act, which would make Social Security solvent for years to come?
I don't know. I'm guessing 0.
0. It's a really small number. Don't even need a whiteboard. Can do this one with my hand. So Republican math in terms of the budget, which is made by Congress, not made by seniors, by older Americans, means increasing our deficit by $1.8 trillion and doing 0 to reduce the effect of the debt by Social Security and Medicare and adjusting those policies.
Do you know if within the last year between 2022 and 2023, if there was an increase or decrease in murder and negligent homicide in Tarrant County?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it did not increase.
Okay. In fact, it went down by almost 17%. So great job. What about manslaughter by negligence, or we call it criminally negligent homicide?
I believe it also went down.
Yes.
It may be on ticking up at the moment on intoxicated and homicide may be ticking up at the moment in 24.
Okay, well, we had a 56.52% decrease. How about rape?
All those categories we believe went down.
Absolutely.
And I do credit a lot of incredible law enforcement and municipal police chiefs.
Awesome. So there actually was a decrease by 3.35% in rape. Robbery went down 4.5%, and both aggravated and simple assault went collectively down by 3.18%, and theft went down by 3.89%. This is at the same time in which we're talking about the migrant community and stoking these fears that they're bringing all of this trauma and this crime and violence to our communities. But when we look at a Texas community, Tarrant County, actually everything has gone down. And I do want to thank you for your service in that way, because it takes a team. It can't just be one thing. It means we've got to have great law enforcement, but we also have to have really good policies, and we honestly need to be honest about the data that we see. So overall, it shows me that sheriff in Tarrant County, all crime was down, is what I can tell from the numbers.
It's obvious that 99 times out of 100, they're just reading the room and then pulling stats out of thin air.
I will say that the savings that CBO has identified that we've reinvested back into the Farm Bill, quite frankly, do not cut during the course of this 5 years of this Farm Bill any individual or family SNAP benefits. There's rhetoric on the outside that is amplifying that for their own purposes, but it is just not true.
You know, I have been listening to everyone that had something to say, and the interesting thing, if the public pays attention, is that when my Republican colleagues speak about SNAP, these are the things that I've heard. It's not a cut, it's cost neutral, potential cuts, an increase in benefits. But every time you listen to the Democrats speak, they say the exact same thing. And the information that they're relying on is called data. And the data came from the nonpartisan CBO. The only information that we have before us to make a determination of how we will proceed is data from the CBO. This is what we're supposed to rely upon. I don't know where all of these different iterations about what's going to happen is coming from, but the data says $30 billion. That's what the data says, not what the Democrats say, but what the data says.
The right is very good at terrifying people into thinking things like crime is out of control and immigrants are destroying the country, schools are evil, and transgender people are grooming kids by simply existing. These are old ideas. They're cyclical. We've seen them before, we'll see them again, and they're also provably false. And I should know we've done the videos. But the Democrats can't fall into the trap of trying so hard to appeal to the center-right that they fail to refute these lies. And it's so refreshing to see politicians like Jasmine Crockett and Katie Porter flat out refusing to play along. When you click the join button and become a Tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?